Together in Battle, one of my absolute favorite turn-based strategy titles of last year, has just released its 1-year anniversary update, and it is a huge one. I've always recommended this game very heavily to anyone who's interested in the genre, and now with this latest update, I can only do so even more. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Titanium Legman, and today we're talking about what's new in the game. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you enjoy what I do, including my ongoing coverage of the indie turn-based strategy and tactics space, such as titles like Together in Battle, then a like on this video and a subscription to the channel would be very much appreciated. Thank you so much. So what is Together in Battle if you're not aware of it, and for those of you who are, what's in this update? Well, as a very, very brief overview, Together in Battle is a gladiatorial arena simulator where you will hire, train, and take care of various different mercenaries, golems, spirits, and the like to slowly work your way up the ranks, build a revolutionary force to take home to your own country and fight off some rather nasty corporations, and potentially solve the mystery of an attempted assassination of the king in the kingdom that you're at. It's an extremely replayable game with a ton of interesting character design, focusing on utilizing terrain and unorthodox combat strategies alongside really cool and unique classes and magic, and it incorporates those management aspects of team building in a far more enjoyable way than I've found in a lot of other TRPGs. If you want more of my full thoughts about the game in general, I'll have links to some of my videos about it in the description. Go check those out there, and I will have a link to the game as well if you're interested in it at any point during the video. So with that quick overview out of the way, what has changed since we last discussed Together in Battle? A lot, far more than I can possibly cover in just this video, but I will give you some of the highlights. There's been a new AI battle or versus arena battle mode that's been added for hot seat action with your friends if you want to play around with different types of characters and builds, see how units level over time and the like. The custom campaign editor has been massively expanded, including the inclusion of free roam possibilities, which is super sick, something that I was not expecting to see added to the game at all, but I think is extremely interesting. Massive overhauls to the UI and UX, including indicators on if you're going to be taking counterattacks, if units are going to be able to get killed from the amount of damage you're going to do to them, etc. Very nice at-a-glance visual indicators for you. New characters, new weapons, new classes, new dialogue trees, and a whole lot more. There's even been a new game plus mode added and the ability to share your custom characters more easily, which is super fun because when I did my stream of the game, I had you guys create characters to submit to me who we were then able to use in the game itself. And when I say custom characters, I mean custom characters. Everything from weapon types, classes, stats, growths, appearance, portrait, in-battle, and discussion dialogue with other party members, etc. It is a very robust character builder, and one of my favorite aspects of the game to be able to craft your perfect gladiatorial team, either of just your own OCs, characters from other franchises, your family, your friends, who knows, whatever you want. Now, as far as this update in particular is concerned, the biggest single factor for me is a change to the way the roguelike version of the game plays. When it first launched, roguelike mode was basically just like an Iron Man mode. You didn't have the ability to reload saves or anything like that. There wasn't anything that made it particularly roguelike other than the fact that, you know, you could hit fail safes and die and have to start your campaign over, which at its core is what a roguelike is, but it's definitely not what people associate with the genre as much anymore. So, a big change to this version of the game, if you choose to play it, is to actually have your classic pick 3 for abilities, skills, proficiencies, and the like when your characters level up and would normally earn them. In the past, you would randomly get one from a pool that matched your character's class, and as such, over time, you'd kind of have your characters branching out at random that would change the way that you would use them on the battlefield and lead to differences even within the same class. Now, when you have a character level up and they're going to be given that choice, you'll have 3 different options to choose from. Anything from getting better armor proficiency for heavier gear, a new type of spell, a new type of skill, a new weapon proficiency, and you can start to craft exactly where you want a character to go. You'll still have reasons to tech different characters of the same class into different styles of combat, especially if you're leaning into particular promotion paths, but this is going to give you a little bit more control in a mode that is overall much more punishing due to its nature as a Iron Man style run. As someone who's put a ton of time into the game and I'm pretty familiar with the classes and characters, I'm really going to enjoy playing this myself, as there's definitely certain archetypes that I've just not had the opportunity to use because I've never had characters who've leveled into them properly. Now, I can pick the class that I want to experiment with in a different type of build and just focus them on that, and I think that's really cool. It'll also make higher difficulty modes a little bit more accessible, cool, as you won't be quite as victim to the RNG and can actually put your tactical prowess to the test by figuring out exactly what type of character you're going to need for a specific role in your army as you push forward into the campaign and things get a lot harder. It's an easy to start game, but boy howdy is it ready to punish you. On top of this massive change for the roguelike mode, there's been a bunch of new abilities and skills added to various different classes. For example, your Sky Kineticist, which is like your Dark Mage, has the ability to create pools of miasma on the ground to create hazards that enemies will then be weakened by, take damage from, kind of let you path things the way that you want them to, force them to make bad decisions. And axe fighters have gotten a longer range throw axe ability, which is definitely nice. I like axe fighters a lot in this game, but they've always felt a little lackluster compared to some of the other melee fighters. So having an option to do more damage at range is going to be a nice little utility piece for them that'll carve a little bit more of a niche for them. There's also been training vouchers that have been added to the game, as there's a character trainer that you can choose to spend some of your time of the day at to give your characters boosts, whether it be shoring up weak stats, further improving their best stats, multi-classing when you get to that point, but people often didn't choose to use it because your time is very limited on a daily basis. You have a lot of things that you need to do, and gold can be pretty precious, especially if you're trying to stay on top of getting new gear and food for your army. So now you'll get training vouchers from various different events, battles, loot, etc. that you'll then be able to bring to the trainer to do one round of training for free, no strings attached. This is going to be a really, really cool loot item to get, especially once you get to the part of the game where you are considering multi-classing characters and getting a lot of different options for them in terms of skills and weapon proficiencies. So I'm really excited to play around with these, and again, like with the roguelike mode, be able to really craft the way my team is being built up before you get to the end game. There's been a bunch of new events that have been added that Craig, developer of Together in Battle, has chosen not to spoil in the patch notes, so I'll definitely be looking for those. And for our custom character lovers, we do have two interesting aspects here. First of all, long custom character dialogue is better accommodated by the game, so if you have a lengthy set of backstory for a character that's from a faraway land or whatever, it won't get cut off by the game, which is obviously very nice. You put in all that work to write dialogue for a character you want it to actually, show up. And there's actually a competition going on to submit custom characters from now until June 6th. There'll be a link to a specific thread where you can submit a character, go into the game, create whatever type of character that you want to create, submit them to Craig, and then he'll put them all together in a YouTube video showcasing the best and the brightest that y'all have to offer, which is very cool. Very fun way to put some OCs in the game. The campaign creator got a big overhaul for those of you who are into that as well and really want to get into the nitty-gritty of creating your own game within the game. And then, as always, there's a slew of bug fixes, quality of life improvements, and the like. If you want to see those for yourself, I will have the link to the full patch notes in the description. All told, this is an absolutely massive update for the game, alongside all of the other smaller updates that have come along with it since I last spoke about it. If you have ever been at all interested in checking out Together in Battle, or if you're interested in coming back to the game, doing another campaign, been a little while, you want to dive back in, this right now is an absolutely excellent time to do so. I'm definitely planning my own, just in my own time, roguelike campaign to play around a lot with all the different skill options and building different characters. I'm sure that's going to be a pretty fresh experience in a game that's already very accommodating of multiple playthroughs. If you do decide to dive back in, or you're going to be checking it out for the first time, let us know in the comments. Feel free to strike up a conversation either there or in my Discord, where we do talk about Together in Battle from time to time. And if you pick the game up, make sure that you leave a review for it on Steam as well. It's very, very important, especially for your indie devs, so they can keep getting the traction that they need to make more cool stuff for all of us. For now, though, I think I'm going to wrap this one up here. My name has been Tom, otherwise known as Titanium Legman. This has been Together in Battle. I hope that you all have enjoyed, and most importantly, I hope that you all have a good night. Stay safe and healthy out there, everybody. And remember, be good to each other, y'all. Bye now.